If Google Stadia goes down, you lose your money, you lose your game. The end. Google Stadia is dead. Who is surprised by that? Certainly not me. It's a service where everything happens in the cloud. You buy this controller. It's for something like in America, it's $129, and then you get I think you get like 3 months of pro subscription. But the stupid thing is, yeah, it's all in the cloud, so you get. They say, oh, you don't have to install any games. Isn't that amazing? Well, no, because installing games is not a major issue for the majority of us. Oh, look, The Nice Guys is on TV, great. But for some reason, it's an issue for some. I don't know why. What these people are prepared to do instead are go on Google Stadia, and they spend all this money, and it's not, it kind of made it look like it was going to be a Netflix for games, which is what sort of Xbox Game Pass is. But obviously, you download or you install, you download and you install the games to your hard drive and play them off that. This is Games Pass on the PC, so Games Pass Ultimate. And the problem with playing games online, that you're streaming, is that they glitch like hell. When you try and put this to any of the fanboys on Google, so the Google Stadia page on Facebook, they're like, oh no, it looks absolutely perfect. I can't see any problems at all. And yet I then go and look at their footage, and I see glitches all over the shop. What? I hate to imagine what they're putting on their cornflakes. It's certainly not bloody sugar, I tell you. As a result, it says Google shuts down its internal Stadia game studios. The service continues and we'll see more third-party games, but focus is now partnering with other companies. I don't know who Jade Raymond is. But it's looking like, say, Jason Schreier says on here, I know it's fun to make jokes about Stadia imploding. Yes, a lot of people predicted this sort of thing was going to happen, but it's hard not to be infuriated at Google hiring 150 plus game developers only to throw them all away a year later like old Google glasses. Yeah, it's very sad that people are losing their jobs. That's the horrific thing about this. But the mad thing is that people believed that Google was going to make a success out of this. What people don't realise is that instead of a Netflix for games like Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is, with this, you can pay a subscription to sort of get discounts on the games and you get free games each month. Or you just have a sort of basic free subscription where you have to, well, in both cases, you'll be paying the full price for a game. So say, for example, Cyberpunk 2077. Forget the issues with it not running properly on PS4 and Xbox One S and X and all the rest of it. Because just the fact that you buy a physical copy of that game, you pay a few quid less than you would pay for the online version, the digital version on the online store. And I made this point many times before. The games then get discounted in the physical form in shops like a month or two later. You get discounted like by 50%. And especially in the case of Cyberpunk 2077 with all the problems it's had. Meanwhile, online, on the digital stores, it remains full price the whole time. I gave this example before with Shadow of the Tomb Raider in late 2018. But back to this issue, and he says they're thrown away like old Google glasses. And if we just look at Killed by Google, this shows all the other things that they've tried to create and people have got used to, and then they've just binned them without a second thought. Google Hangouts, they were a thing for a moment. It was like sort of says June 2021. What is that? Sort of shutting down completely. We're not at June 2021 as of yet, but it's being shut down anyway. It's in the process of being shut down. Maybe it's still around. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, they're getting rid all these things that were sort of. I mean, Google Hangouts, that was like a sort of chat room kind of thing. I don't really see the point of it. I mean, there's plenty of chat rooms online. They just want to try and stick their sticky beaks into everything. Google Play Music, killed 3 months ago. It was the music and podcast streaming service and an online music locker. It was almost 9 years old. Top left, YouTube Messages, killed over 1 year ago. It was a direct messaging feature that allowed users to share and discuss videos one-on-one and in groups on YouTube. It was about 2 years old. Well, I don't remember sort of that specifically. I remember the inbox feature on YouTube, and they got rid of that, and it's really bloody annoying. You have to sort of try and hunt people down via Twitter and so on, and try and have a conversation through there. It's just rather ridiculous. And yeah, the top of that page there, the one just below it, Google hello, hello, hello. What was that? Instant messaging. Oh, forget that. Never even heard of that. Anyway, Google Plus. It was, yeah, they wanted it to be like sort of Facebook. And they tried and tried, and they even got like the likes of Click on BBC News with the rather annoying Spencer Kelly just saying, "Oh, we live on the internet, YouTube, and Google Plus. You don't live. You live in a house. We see it every week on your silly show. Just you don't live on these social media things unless you're like Flynn in Tron and you get sucked up into the computer void." Yeah, Google Plus. So they wanted it, and it didn't work, and they got rid of it. I mean, I don't blame people for trying things. You know, companies are trying things, they don't work out, and they stop doing them. Fine, I completely understand that. But the fact of the matter is, this is a system that people will have paid. For example, even whether or not you got the subscription for Stadia, the Pro subscription, which is about $10 a month, you will have paid. So if you paid $60 or 50 quid, whatever it is, for Cyberpunk 2077 on Stadia, if Google Stadia goes down, you lose your money, you lose your game. The end. And then you look at this, and you get Google's Stadia. I'm not going to look at their article. It's just gibberish. It's just basically saying that they're just going to they've scrapped anyone making games in house. They're just going to focus on having third-party games on there. But it's just one step to it all finishing. Ramon Sanchez says, "Love it. Why make your own games when we really just want great AAA games playable anywhere and everywhere? I have a PS5, Switch, and PC, but I'm using Stadia more and more because of how great it works, especially on the iPad." But this is a typical fanboy comment, because it's not just a case of, say CD Projekt Red, they make Cyberpunk 2077 and they just release it for everyone to play. No, they have to make a version that's specific to Google Stadia, that will work completely wholly on Google Stadia. And what that involves is a lot of work. And if you've only got a small user base on Google Stadia anyway, they're not going to do it all the time. And if you get any of the many updates in this case for Google Stadia, for Cyberpunk 2077, that means they're going to have to update Google Stadia's version every time. And if there's not many people playing on it, they're not going to just do those updates. They're just going to give up with the service, especially since Google are now throwing in the towel. I mean, Joseph Price says it best: "This isn't good news, they're admitting defeat. I'd be surprised if they're around in a few years." Ramon says, "No, they're just wasting their time making their own games. The tech they have works." Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's what they should focus on. I agree with this decision. Prat. Marcus Cortez says, "Guilt was a third-party Stadia exclusive, which is pretty freaking cool." Generation Z, eh? Lol. But I agree with you. Spend more time convincing AAA studios to expand towards your platform. Google's got more than enough money to throw at them. Ramon says, "I knew I took a chance without looking it up as to who actually made it or spelled it correctly." But you get the point. Either which matter you look at it, the platform works. It doesn't. It's glitchy as flip. "I bought Phoenix on Switch, but I love it. But I also bought it on Stadia because of that. I love going back and forth." Are you mad? How much money have you got to spend to buy the same game twice? There's a billion games out there, and you're wasting your money on the same game twice. How stupid could you possibly be? Just scrolling back a bit, Cameron Wade says, "I agree with Joseph. This seems like the opposite of growing a sustainable gaming company." Michael Stryker says, "They aren't a gaming company though. They're a platform." Well, they were a gaming company. They tried to have the finger in every pie. Ramon says, "Well said." Yeah, you really are, a sandwich short of a picnic, aren't you? Oh, good lord. Basically, in short, Google Stadia is dead. It has ceased to be and has gone to meet its maker. If you think it's anything other than that, you are deluded. You are seriously deluded. Ugh. Please let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And click on the little bell for all notifications. And cue Genesis.